I've been thinking about making a YouTube channel and putting out a video and figuring out what kind of color palette to choose for my brand, what I'm going to talk about, different experiences in my life, tried writing a script, and then I kept pushing actually recording myself because I was afraid. I was afraid of expectations. I was afraid that what I want to say won't translate to video well. And this kind of got me thinking about how to create a personality online and living myself and my personality with authenticity. And one thing that just kept coming up over and over again was how tiring it is to be authentic. I believe authenticity to be the overlap between your self identity and your actual actions. In other words, do you practice being yourself more often than not? Hi, my name is Visha Vijayanand. With your permission, I'm going to bore you with my life story for context. I was born in Tamil Nadu and lived there for a few years before moving to America in 1999. Growing up, I had to fulfill the expectations of my parents and also adapt to a new environment at school. This gave me the ability to split my personality into one that was acceptable for home and one that was allowing me to make friends at school. And I understand that this is hard and often not aligned. At school, for example, if my accent slipped or I shared about my traditions at home, it was often met with comments like, oh, that's weird or that's crazy. People thought it was strange. What I didn't understand in elementary school was that the things that other kids thought were weird were actually privileges that they didn't have. In my house, for example, we have three warm homemade meals every single day. I got a packed lunch for school, we went on family road trips, and what these other kids saw in elementary school were like unfamiliar curries, strange lunch boxes, and basically that I wasn't allowed to hang out on weekends. Because it was met with ridicule, I stopped telling my school friends about my home life. They just didn't see it as normal. At home, my parents, being new to North America, were also trying to understand the new school system, their jobs, and how to assimilate without their family and friends. They tried their best to help me adapt to the new environment, but they prioritized things like homework and tests because that's what they understood and knew. They were happy to let me hang out with my friends while I was at school, but they didn't understand why I would need to go hang out on a Saturday. This also came at a price of not wanting to disappoint my parents, which I carried throughout my 20s. They sacrificed their friends, their family, and their life that they built in India for my education in a country where there would be more opportunity. In my opinion, I was living authentically growing up. I mean, I was authentic at home and authentic at school. I just wasn't the same person both at home and at school. Like, there was two very different personalities. Now, is that good? Am I mentally more capable because I compartmentalized my home and my school life? I don't know. That's my lived experience. I acknowledge that this process was hard and conflicting and difficult to explain to my parents why I didn't want to go to the temple with them or why I didn't want to wear an Indian outfit all the time. I just wanted to be a normal kid, and that was draining. So, partially out of fear, I didn't bother. It didn't seem worth causing more trouble at home for no reason. I guess what I have to say can't wait any longer. That's why I'm speaking to you right now in my nightie at night without even proper lighting. Because you know what? I'm just gonna do this. Expectations, values, and ambition. A lot of people who identify with my self identity of being maybe an Indian woman or being an ethnic woman, you might relate to the idea that you are expected to perform certain tasks by your relatives, like your family, or maybe your coworkers or your spouse. And then there are ambitions that you have that you've worked hard for, that you've set out for. And then the last thing is your values, these things that are instilled inside of you that make you want to be the type of person that you are, what you want to give back to the world, and how you expect to be treated. All these three things are incredibly important. And it's so tiring to live authentically when you're trying to juggle all these three things. And sometimes it's just taking a moment to acknowledge that. I'm going to walk you through an exercise, a mental one. You don't have to write anything down. Just so you can decipher what parts of your self identity that you want to be authentic to and present to the world. So I want you to just think about the first thing that I mentioned, expectation. I think that I'm really good at meeting other people's expectations, but not very good at setting my own expectations and accomplishing my own goals. That kind of self discipline just didn't come from within. It was pretty much set by, my parents, school, university, whatever. So the first thing that I'd like you to think about is what expectations do you have for yourself? Once you have an idea of what those expectations are, um, maybe say them out loud to yourself. So for me, for example, I have an expectation to keep up with my friend circle. During coronavirus, I think that social interaction, for me especially as an extrovert, is super important. The next thing I'd like you to think about is values. What values do you have for yourself? I'm not talking about the values and the traditions that were instilled upon you, but really just deep within yourself, what values do you have? Something I like to tell people often is that I value my time more than anything else. When I tell people that I value my time more than anything else, I get a comment which is, "You're not always productive, so how can you say that your time is the most valuable asset that you have?" For me, it's not about using every minute of my time. It's about having the choice of how to use every minute of my time that's more important. The last thing I want you to think about is ambition. Again, taking away expectations set on you by your external factors. What ambitions do you have for yourself that you've worked hard for, that you don't want to let anyone have any space in judging you for? A lot of us spend a lot of time allowing external people to occupy space in our mind and our heart and our emotions. If you want to open up your heart to the ambition that you want to go after and not be so concerned about what other people have to say about it and not be judged and not feel like you're doing it for them, practice living authentically. There are these ambitions. We need to accomplish those things that we set our goals and our mind to. By allowing ourselves space from all of the other things that take up our mental capacity, we can actually go after those things and achieve them.
Uno más momento.
Come show them your t-shirt.
You still filming?
So I got my brother this t-shirt for when he turned 17.
Ow.
Duck, obviously. What's it say?
Brown girl, you are the world.
Exactly, thank you.
Ow.
Oh, are you okay?